Here's your Storm Track 7 forecast.
Good evening, Eastern Iowa. I'm Storm Track 7 meteorologist Andy Cassidy. It was a warm and windy day today, and we're going to have more of the same for us tomorrow. Tonight, winds do die down after sunset. We'll have low temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s, mostly clear skies with a south to east wind kind of shifting in between at about 5 to 15. Then for tomorrow, high temperatures pretty similar to today, maybe a couple of degrees warmer in many areas. Mid to upper 60s north and east, low to mid 70s south and west with a mix of sun and clouds. And that southeast wind, while not as strong, still could be strong at times, gusting up to 30. So not as high as a fire risk tomorrow, but still going to be pretty elevated, especially for this time of year. But all eyes are on Wednesday at this moment. That's why we have a Storm Track 7 yellow alert day, because we could see strong north wind gusts, no matter if you see snow, rain, or a combination of both, up to 55 miles per hour. And then we could see some accumulating snow, especially for our northwestern areas. But no matter where you are, any snow that does fall could cause whiteout conditions if it's heavy enough, because winds are going to be so strong. And even though it's a wet and heavy snow, that's not going to matter when wind gusts are as high as 55 miles per hour. This is for Wednesday into Wednesday night. The snow totals, though, or I should say the snow timing, it's going to be more Wednesday afternoon into the evening hours. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But let's map out the picture for you on Wednesday. Winter storm watch in effect through this entire corridor here, stretching through Kansas, Nebraska, northwestern Iowa, southeast Minnesota, northwest Wisconsin, and into the upper peninsula. So it's a pretty thin stretch, and this is where the heaviest of the snow is going to be located, and pretty strong winds as well. Locally here, that is for Chickasaw County, Bremer County, and Butler County. The official timing really is Tuesday night to Wednesday night, but as I mentioned, we probably won't see snow in this area until at the earliest late Wednesday morning, into Wednesday evening. So as I mentioned, that's where the highest snow accumulations are expected. Could see the worst of travel conditions as well, especially in open areas. Could be blizzard conditions at times. Before that all goes down, though, we have a chance of possibly some stronger storms, and not expecting what we saw last week on Friday, but still could see some stronger thunderstorms at that. The best chance is going to be this level 2 risk in Chicago here on the eastern Illinois side and western Indiana near Indianapolis. But locally for us, again, it says a level 1 out of 5 risk, so pretty low, but still could see some storms with maybe some small hail, some gusty winds. We're already going to see gusty winds no matter what, if we see thunderstorms or not, so that's just another added risk. And then tornado chances, it's very low. It's not zero, but it's very low. Just cannot absolutely rule it out, but as I mentioned, that chance is low. So it's for all of eastern Iowa before the snow, or I should say before the rain transitions into snow, because we're going to have a little bit of a warm-up, especially farther south and east during the day on Wednesday, because that front is taking a little bit longer than expected to get through. And with that, that does lower our snow totals a little bit, shifts it farther northwest, kind of cuts off some of the moisture for our snow totals. So some of you might be like, yes, that's good. And some of you that wanted that snow, well, you're going to have to look farther northwest, I think, for us here in Iowa. But let's go through it together here and show you what the timing looks like. So here's Tuesday at 7 p.m. Much of the night Tuesday, and really I think all of the night on Tuesday for the most part, and early Wednesday morning, is going to be dry. It's really taking now a little bit to get here. So here's Wednesday at 7 a.m. You notice just kind of some scattered showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder. That snow still staying off to the northwest in areas near Mason City. Then we'll get to the noon hour. You're starting to notice some oranges and reds pick up. That's where we could see those stronger thunderstorms in some areas, especially north and east here during the late morning as that cold front moves through. That's going to be able to initiate some of these storms. Then here's noon. Now you're starting to see that snow transition, or excuse me, the rain transition into snow, especially to the north and to the west. And you're also seeing some dark oranges and reds. That's where we're going to see some heating during the day. And as that cold front moves through, it's going to initiate some of those storms, again, that could be on the stronger side. Continue to move through. Here's 6 o'clock, and you notice something, that moisture getting cut off here. So that's what I meant about the lower snow totals with that cutoff of moisture. But the darker blues here to the northwest, that's where we could see a little bit more of that heavier snow like you saw in the winter storm watch. We'll continue through the evening hours. Here's 10 o'clock. It'll start to taper off from northwest to southeast. Then after midnight really tapers off, and then it's out of here by early Thursday morning, and it'll be done falling by the time the sun rises on Thursday. Then we'll have some sunshine for the day on Thursday, helping melt away anything that does stick on the ground. Speaking of sticking on the ground, here's how much snow we're expecting. So totals aren't overly impressive, at least for our area. There could be a foot of snow plus in some areas out in central Iowa, maybe southeast Minnesota, but for us, not expecting any of that. Maybe at most 2 to 4 inches for areas far north and west, including the areas of New Hampton, just on the edge there, Decorah, and for northern Butler County, northern Bremer County as well. For the light blue, including areas like Olwine, Elkader, and Waterloo, about 1 inch to 2 inches. And for the rest of the area, trace to 1. This is where I think more thunderstorm activity will be. But don't get caught up too much on the totals because the primary impacts, as I mentioned, is going to be the winds reducing visibility. With how warm the ground is, it's going to be tough for this to stick. But it could be heavy enough northwest for it to stick, and combine that with very strong winds in those open areas could be very treacherous to travel. Remember a couple weeks ago in central Iowa when there was all those closures, road closures. So again, I think the worst will be off to our west and to our northwest, but for us, especially in our far northern areas, we could see a little bit of that here. So again, the totals are more important. It's more of the impacts of the wind combining with reduced visibility to make travel pretty tricky. So I just want to show you a more broader view of what I'm talking about, where the heaviest of the snow is going to be. So you can see that corridor where that winter storm watch is right here through eastern Nebraska, northwestern Iowa, southeast Minnesota, into northwestern Wisconsin, the Upper Peninsula. So you notice this purple and then maybe some darkish blues in northwest portions of the viewing area, and then it cuts off pretty starkly. So that's what I meant about totals not great here, but just off to the northwest. But that's where we could see maybe close to a foot in some areas. In terms of total precipitation, we'll get a decent amount, which is definitely going to help because of how dry it's been. So in the areas north and west, there's a little bit more moisture, about a ½ inch, maybe up to an inch in some spots. Otherwise, farther south and east, kind of between Highway 20 and Highway 30, maybe about a quarter to a ½ inch, and then south of Highway 30, maybe a quarter of an inch there. Again, with any thunderstorms that it does sit under, could see a little bit more, but that's generally how much precip we could see through the day on Wednesday. So with that being said, let's wrap things up. Your city-by-city forecast for Waterloo, Dubuque, Cedar Rapids, and Iowa City. Temperatures on Wednesday, so initially it looked like it'd be a little bit cooler to start the day, but now we're going to see temperatures close to 70 in some spots. That's why we do that kind of strong thunderstorm risk. Then for Thursday, we're widespread in the mid to upper 40s, mostly sunny skies. Again, any snow that does stick should be melted away by Thursday. We'll continue to see pretty strong winds at times, especially on Friday. We'll see that southwest wind. And then after that, things stay pretty consistent, at least with temperatures staying in the upper 40s and low 50s for highs and upper 20s and low 30s for lows.